So let's start with our first story today. Living with my boyfriend's parents was meant to be temporary while we saved for a deposit on a house of our own. But his dad's behaviour has made it so uncomfortable, I don't know how much longer I can take it. Hi Aunt Jay, I've been with Adam for just over a year now and we're engaged. When we got serious, we both agreed it made sense to save as much money as we could before buying our own place. And his parents offered for us to come and live with them while we saved for our deposit. At first it sounded perfect. Adam's mum, Carla, is honestly wonderful. She's treated me like family from day one. She cooks these wonderful meals and makes sure Adam's laundry is always done. She even helps me out when I'm stressed out from work. She's warm, kind, and she's the kind of mother-in-law everyone hopes they'll get. But then there's Adam's dad, Peter. At first I brushed things off. He'd make these little comments that I thought were just bad jokes. Stuff like, "Don't bend over in front of me in that skirt, I'm only human." And then laugh as if he was just being cheeky. Everyone else would laugh too, because that's just the kind of banter they're used to from him. So I told myself I was just being overly sensitive. But it hasn't stopped there. He's gotten into a habit of standing far too close when he speaks to me, like right up in my space. Sometimes he'd touch my shoulder or brush past me in the kitchen when there's plenty of room to move around. I started to feel like this is actually deliberate. The worst moment was the bathroom incident. I was getting ready for work one morning when the door opened and Peter just walked in. He didn't back out straight away either. He lingered, stood there staring at me for far too long before finally leaving. Later, when it was just me and him in the kitchen, he smirked and said it had been a nice way to start the morning. I didn't mention it to Adam or his mum. For them, Peter's just this cheeky bloke who makes stupid jokes. They think he's harmless. Adam even laughs it off when I tell him that his dad makes me feel uncomfortable, saying, "That's just dad being dad." But I know there's more to it than that. Now I go out of my way to avoid being alone with him. If Adam's not home, I'll stay in my room. If I hear Peter moving around in the kitchen, I'll wait until he's gone before I go down. But I shouldn't have to live like this in a house that's meant to be my home too. But the hardest part is how nice Carla is. She treats me like her own daughter. I don't want to cause a rift in their family. If I speak up, I know it'll cause massive tension. And I don't want to be the reason Adam falls out with his parents. But if I stay silent, I feel like I'm letting this man get away with behaviour that makes me feel sick. I've even started questioning myself. Am I overreacting? Am I being too sensitive? But then I replay the moments in my head, like when he stood in the bathroom doorway, just watching me. And I know deep down I'm not. So Aunt Jay, what would you do if you were in my position? Listen, you're not overreacting. A man walking in on you in the bathroom, staring, and then making a comment like that, that's not cheeky banter. That's crossing a line, and the fact you don't feel safe in that house tells you everything you need to know. I do understand why you've kept quiet. You don't want to upset Carla, and you don't want to start a war between Adam and his parents, but you can't carry this by yourself. You've got to tell Adam exactly what happened, no watering it down. If he loves and respects you, he'll take your side and deal with his dad. But if he doesn't, then you'll learn something really important about the kind of partner he is. You can't control Peter's behaviour, but you can control your response. And right now, your response has to be speaking up. Be clear with Adam, put it on the table, then you'll see whether he's the man you can build a future with. And don't let anyone make you feel like you're being dramatic. You've got instincts for a reason. Trust them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What would you do? And have you ever been in a situation like this? Now, on to our second story. Our second story today. I've been married for 15 years and I'm fed up. My wife's gossiping has wrecked friendships, cost her job, and now it's tearing us apart. Hi Aunt Jay, I've been married to my wife Monica for 15 years. She's a good woman in many ways, caring, funny, a great mum to our kids. But she has one terrible habit that drives me up the wall. She can't keep her mouth shut. It's not harmless chatter either. Monica loves a story and she can't resist passing it on. The problem is, what starts as just between us always ends up as the talk of the town. I've lost count of the number of times we've had people banging on our front door, furious neighbours, angry friends, even parents from school demanding to speak to Monica because she's apparently been bad-mouthing them behind their backs. Every time she'll say, "I didn't mean any harm," or "they're overreacting," but the pattern never changes. I've begged her to stop. I've told her straight, "You're going to cause serious damage if you keep this up." She promises she'll do better, and then a week later she's whispering about someone else. The last straw came a couple of months ago. Monica landed a new job at an office, and she always came home with stories about who was lazy, who was having an affair, and who didn't like who. I told her, "Look, just do your job and leave it alone." But she couldn't help herself. Well, it blew up badly, and a few of her colleagues found out she'd been talking about them to others in the office. One woman even accused her of spreading lies. The whole place turned against her. She came home in tears one Friday and said she couldn't face going back. And just like that, 15 years of marriage, and now I'm watching her lose her job because she can't stop gossiping. I thought that would maybe be her wake-up call. I really did. But last week, one of her friends, Helen, came over for a cup of tea. They sat in the kitchen chatting away for hours. When Helen left, I thought nothing of it, but as soon as the door was closed, Monica grabbed her phone, rang another friend and repeated every single private thing Helen had just told her, word for word. I couldn't believe it. I snapped. I yelled, "Do you ever stop? Helen has barely left out the door and you're spilling everything she just told you. You'll never learn, Monica. Never." She just stared at me like I was overreacting, but I wasn't. I'm exhausted. Can't keep dealing with the fallout from her gossiping. It's ruined friendships. It's embarrassed our family, and now it's cost her job. And the worst part, she doesn't even see it. She acts like she's the victim when people confront her. Meanwhile, I'm the one left answering the door to angry neighbours, smoothing things over at school events, and dealing with the whispers. Aunt Jay, I love my wife, but I don't know how much longer I can live like this. 15 years of marriage feels like 15 years of damage control, and I don't know if she's capable of changing. I can hear the frustrations in your words, and honestly, I don't blame you. 15 years is a long time to live in damage control, and it sounds like Monica's gossiping has gone way beyond casual chatter. It's hurting her relationships, her work, and your marriage. The truth is, gossiping can be addictive. For some people, it gives them a sense of importance, like they're in the know. But what she's not seeing is the wreckage it's leaving behind, the angry people at your door, the ruined reputation at work, and the stress it puts on you. You were right to snap when she picked up the phone the second her friend left. That shows she hasn't made the connection between her behaviour and the consequences. She doesn't see the pattern, but you do, and that's exhausting. But here's the thing, you can't make her stop. You can point it out, you can call it out, but unless she's willing to take responsibility, nothing will change. What you can do is set boundaries and tell her clearly, I won't be dragged into this anymore. I won't clean up your mess when people come to confront you. If you choose to gossip, you deal with the fallout. And then mean it. Step back. If someone knocks on your door angry, let her handle it. Don't play referee. Sometimes people only learn when they're left to deal with the consequences themselves. This isn't about you being harsh. It's about protecting your own sanity and making it clear that her behaviour has real costs. Not just for her, but for your family and your marriage. And if she values those things, she'll have to take a good hard look at herself and start making some changes. You've carried the stress for 15 years. It's time she carried the responsibility. Well, those are my thoughts. Have you ever found yourself in any of these situations? What advice do you have? Let me know how you would deal with it in the comment section below. Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more stories like this. I post every single week. But until next time, guard your heart and protect your peace.